Welcome to the Mindful Fit Pro podcast, where fitness professionals learn how to strengthen not just bodies, but minds as well. In this podcast, we chat about all things mindfulness, mental wellness, and the latest in psychological research. Hello, instructors and personal trainers and all you fit pros listening. I am your host, Shelly, and I'm so happy you're tuning in to listen to today's episode. Today we're going to be talking about mental health and how your role as a fitness professional plays into supporting the mental health of your clients. As fitness professionals, you help more than just the bodies that are in front of you. You're helping the whole person. And I doubt anyone's really questioning, what does mental health have to do with physical health? But you might be wondering, what can I do that will actually make a difference? In today's episode, I want to make it really clear why Fit Pros should know how to recognize signs when their clients may be facing things like depression or anxiety, and when it's getting to a point where they may need extra help. I'm going to talk about how to recognize signs of mental health challenges, and I'm also going to discuss the importance of early intervention. As instructors and personal trainers, our role at its very core is essentially to help other people. We help people learn how to love movement again, how to believe in their own inner strength, even when they're doubting their physical capabilities. We help people run around with their grandkids or carry those heavy grocery bags up a flight of stairs. We help people prepare for their next mud run or just feel more comfortable walking down the street without getting winded. We help people set goals, and we're with them every step of the way as they're working towards achieving them. So it can feel like we're in a corner when we're presented with challenges that we're not too sure we're qualified to help with, when we feel like we're stepping out of our lane or testing the edge of our scope of practice. Because after all, we're not therapists. I mean, maybe you are, and that's great. There's definitely those of you who are out there who wear those two hats. It's necessary for us as fitness professionals to know how we can help while still staying within our scope of practice. You're already trained to help people with their physical health, and people are already looking to you for support and guidance in bettering their overall well-being. This places you in such a unique position to help support those who might also be struggling with mental health challenges. Because for many reasons, people may be hesitant to seek help, or there might be barriers present that are preventing them from accessing the help that they need. Just how many people face mental health challenges? According to recent data from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, 1 in 5 U.S. adults experienced mental illness in 2020. In 2021, almost 20% of Americans experienced a mental illness, and more than half of those who needed help did not receive treatment. Now, of course, there's many different situational, environmental factors that can influence one's ability to get help, especially professional help, so finances, maybe lack of insurance, lack of transportation, and even trusting the medical healthcare field in general can all be barriers to seeking help when you're struggling with your mental health. And then there's the symptoms themselves. They can sometimes bias our perceptions. For example, depression can lead to feelings of low self-worth, and as a result, people might not think that they're deserving of seeking help to begin with. All of this can influence one's decision to seek help in the future or for what they're currently going through. There's also considerations of culture, values, your belief systems. These are all going to influence how, when, where you're seeking help, and who you're seeking help from. I want to make sure that you are well aware of the resources available within your community, so that way you can help someone who might be facing these barriers to care, at least to be that little spark of hope. I have a free mental health resource guide for fitness professionals that I'm going to link down below in the show notes in case you'd like to expand your own referral network to find the resources that are available closest to you. The important thing to remember is help is available. Early intervention is key to help people connect with the support that they need. The sooner we can get them linked to support, the better. Dropping out of school, relationships ending, or even self-medicating with drugs and alcohol could be avoided if we intervene early on. Unfortunately, research shows that people go on average of 10 years between their initial onset of symptoms to when they get connected with professional help for their mental health challenges. But recovery is possible. That's one thing I want to make sure to highlight in today's episode. You're listening to the Mindful Fit Pro podcast, and I hope you're taking a moment to soak it all in. If you're inspired by today's episode, check out www.mindfulfitpro.com to see additional workshops and courses that I offer. And if today's content resonated with you and you think other instructors or personal trainers would benefit from listening too, please share the Mindful Fit Pro podcast with your friends and team. Now let's get back to the episode. Mental health challenges can impact one's behavior, appearance, thoughts, and feelings, and these can persist over time and impact one's ability to function really day to day. What are some of the signs that you could look for in a gym setting or studio setting? Changes in behavior could look like somebody avoiding responsibilities by spending a ton of time in the gym or taking a bunch of classes in the studio to the point where it's interfering with other areas of their life. Or it could also look like taking an excessive amount of classes in a row or being very strict about not taking any rest and recovery days. Other signs could look like changes in energy levels, like having way more energy or having way less energy. And a client might express to you that they just have no motivation or drive to continue working out anymore. Maybe they don't see a point to it, or maybe they're just exhausted from other commitments. You might also see changes in appearance, so maybe changes in someone's personal hygiene or sudden changes in their weight. Changes in thought can look like difficulty paying attention during conversations, or maybe they're telling you that they have this extreme dissatisfaction with how they look. All of these could be signs of a mental health challenge. So often I get a question of, how do you know when it's time to seek help? Whenever it's starting to interfere with your day-to-day functioning and you feel like hobbies that you used to enjoy are just not fun anymore, when you've stopped hanging out with your friends or maybe withdrawn from family, if you find yourself having trouble sleeping or changes in your eating habits, feelings like low self-worth, even difficulty concentrating. You might even be thinking in your head like, ooh, that kind of sounds like it might be depression that we're dealing with here. Our job is not to diagnose, but we still can recognize that all these things happening, if our client's going to share this with us, it may indicate that they're experiencing a mental health challenge. So it's a good kind of door opener or a conversation starter, if you will, to talk to them, ask some questions, and find out more about what's going on so that if you need to, you can refer them to the best place to seek help. So that's why it's so important as fitness instructors and personal trainers to be skilled not only in recognizing the signs of a mental health challenge, but also be skilled in active listening, providing assistance without judgment, and knowing how to navigate the mental health resources that are available within your community. There's really three main reasons that I think all Fit Pros can play a huge, impactful role in supporting their clients' mental health. Number one, you're already helping to change their lives. So you're skilled in helping to improve their physical health, and you might be their very first line of support when someone's looking to improve their mental health as well. They might be going to the gym to look for a way to manage their stress. People might be hesitant to reach out for their mental health to a psychiatrist or look for a counselor, but maybe they're coming to you as a way to improve their physical health and then ultimately impact their mental health as well. Your group fitness students, your personal training clients trust you, and this means that they might be more open to talking to you about their mental health challenges. Reason number two, everyone's talking about mental health right now. And don't get me wrong, I love that we're shifting this conversation and shifting the norm so that it's more common to talk about mental health and it's not something that is kept in the dark. And it's really helping to take away at the stigma surrounding mental health by bringing this conversation out into the open. But like I mentioned before, many of these conversations don't really highlight that recovery is possible. There's so many people out there who make it a career out of helping people through mental health challenges. Sometimes it takes a person to reach in and ask questions and show that they're noticing a difference in somebody that they care about, rather than waiting for that person who's struggling to reach out and ask for help when they might be really intimidated to do so. They might think that nobody cares about what they're going through. I mean, I can speak from experience with depression. Symptoms of depression themselves kind of make you question like whether or not you're even worth seeking help for, or if it's going to make that much of a difference if you do talk to a therapist, and if it's even worth trying. And then number 3, you want to help because you care, right? As fitness professionals, deep down, we are helpers at heart. Maybe you're not sure what exactly to say. The important thing here is that you care. And this is going to come across when you're helping your clients. Your body language, actively listening to them, this can all make a powerful impact and show that you're there to help without passing any judgment. What can you do to help? That's a question that you're probably wondering. What can I actually do to help? You can offer support by showing that you care, that you're willing to have conversations about mental health, by showing that you recognize what other people are going through. You notice the differences and changes in their behavior, or maybe the thoughts that they've been sharing with you. You can empathize with how difficult a time they're having. Sometimes you might be perceived as the only person who is willing to listen, which, like I mentioned, places you in such a unique position to offer support. You can provide reassurance, spread hope, and highlight that recovery is possible. And if the person's open to it, you can also help them connect with professionals in the area, national resources, or maybe different community-based programs. But how can you do all this confidently, especially if you don't have any background in psychology? The good thing is there's a training similar to like how you get trained in CPR to be a layperson that can help somebody through a cardiac arrest. You can become a mental health first aider to help people through mental health challenges. Mental health first aid is an international evidence-based program that teaches people how to identify, understand, and respond to signs and symptoms of mental health and substance use challenges. Mental health first aiders are trained to assess for risk of crisis, trained to listen non-judgmentally, and they're there to provide reassurance, information, and to encourage help seeking, whether it's self-help strategies or going to search for a professional. By becoming a mental health first aider, you'll get a much more informed view of mental health challenges people are facing today and a really holistic perspective to the treatments that are available and the different types of therapies that one can look into. If you're interested in mental health first aid, I encourage you to visit my website, mindfulfitpro.com, or look in the show notes below to see when we're offering upcoming courses. You can be an advocate within your studio or gym and make a real difference in the life of someone who might not be sure where to turn for help. Thank you for listening to today's episode of the Mindful Fit Pro podcast, and thank you for all that you do to help strengthen the people that you work with, both physically and mentally. You do a lot as a Fit Pro, and it does not go unnoticed.